2, 3.
That's Mayfair of a hotel, £2,000, please. Hello, on Bad Influence today, how board games like Monopoly are being given a digital dimension.
Can I give you my get-out-of-jail-free card?
No, cash only.
All right, then. Our main review this week is Asterix on the SNES.
One more.
And as the Virtual Geographic League celebrates its 100th year birthday, I'll be following in the footsteps of Alexander Graham Bell and translocating to Solaris 7.
But first, meet Mark Nyman, the world Scrabble champion. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to Bad Influence.
Thank you.
We're going to set you a challenge now. This is the Amiga Scrabble programme.
Yeah.
Do you feel confident?
I feel pretty good, yeah. I've actually had a couple of games in rehearsal with it, and it's one game all at the moment, so this is the final one.
OK. Off you go, then, and we'll see how you get on at the end of the show.
Thanks very much.
Ertler, yes. Fertler, hey! Hello, Scrotty Fertlers, or should that be Scrotty Scrabblers? Here's a few useful Scrabble words. Number 1, ruritate, which means to really irritate someone by rubbing them on their head. Number 2, blob wig, which is a person you just can't resist ruritating every time you see them. And then, of course, there's BQAS, which is a cheat for Desert Strike on the Amiga. Simply type it in on the password screen, then play the game. Then, when you run out of ammo, just press F10 once, and you'll get all your weapons back, and you'll be impervious to all rocket, bullet, and missile attacks. Like so. Oh, I almost forgot my favourite Scrabble word ever. You get rid of 2 Q's, 2 Z's, and 3 W's. Kazow. And it's the sound a keyboard makes when it smashes you in the face. Ow!
It's true, you know, it's true. Have a look at this. The new Amiga CD32, the first 32-bit console to be launched in this country. Software, well, there's not very much of it around at the moment. There are only 4 games available, but more are promised by Christmas, 80 in fact. Honest. Now, when you buy the console, you get all the usual bits and pieces, you get your mains adapter, etc., and you get this rather strange-shaped controller. Why it's this shape, I've no idea. It doesn't seem to improve playability. In fact, it's just a nuisance. You also get 2 games. You get a game called Oscar, and this one, Diggers, which is, well, it takes ages to get going, and then it's really slow, and it's sort of like Lemmings, but it's nowhere near as much fun. But amazing 32-bit games are coming, they promise us. This is called Rise of the Robots, a futuristic beat-em-up that makes full use of the machine's huge palette of over 16 million colours. And, like any CD system, it makes full use of CD-quality sound and CD-quality music. And as we've said so many times on this programme before, you get a better value of game for your money on CD than you do from a floppy or a cartridge. And that's because, of course, a CD can hold so much more information. This, I'm sure you'll recognise as James Pond Robocod. But on the CD32, this game has an amazing 140 levels. I only hope they've included level codes.
The comic book character Asterix is pretty popular. He sold over 20 million books, has starred in his own series of animated films, and has even got his own theme park in France. Now he's starring in his own SNES game. The year is 50 BC. Obelix has been captured by the invading Roman army, so Asterix, with a little help from the canine dog Matix, has to go and get him back. Here's Adam in ancient Gaul.
This is a kind of run-of-the-mill platform game that all the companies have been coming out with for quite a while. There's not a lot to it. All you're doing is picking up objects and smacking things, but it's a lot of levels so you can keep going for ages. You've got a pretty typical sequence here, lots of jumping around. If you look at the bottom of the screen here, Dogmatic bites the soldier, stopping him from attacking me, which is useful. As you can see here, there's a lot of jumping. That potion there makes it temporarily invincible, so you can charge through the enemy and smack them up without having to take any damage. That's another useful point. Unfortunately, you just get bored by the game. There's just all this jumping around and there's nothing to do. I mean, you just jump in here between clouds. What's the point? Here, you have to jump on the boss's back to avoid being damaged by the hedge. These coins here, when you have 100 of them, will give you an extra life. A rip-off move of Mario, which the game is desperately trying to be, but doesn't cut it at all. One interesting feature is that after an hour of play, continuous, this screen comes up telling you that you want to take a break. Personally, I don't know why anyone would want to play this game for an hour continuously. There's too much jumping around, not enough to do. I wouldn't play this game unless I was getting paid for it. And seeing as this game costs £45, I'd take that £45 and buy some of the books. At least I get more fun out of them.
I like the main characters, especially the dog. It's got really good graphics, but the gameplay could be better.
It took me a while to get into this game, but once I did, it was quite good. And I like the setting in Roman times too.
And so the final scores for Asterix. The girls gave it an average score of 3 out of 5, and the boys, well, some of them liked it more than Adam, so overall they gave it 3 out of 5 as well. I expect, like me, you were amazed to hear the news from America recently that virtual reality was in fact discovered over 100 years ago. The mysterious Virtual Geographic League have just revealed the fact that they've been exploring cyberspace since the turn of the century. But now they need more funds for research, and so they've had to open their doors to the public. And among them was our own Z Wright.
It's 10:30 at night in London. It's just after lunch in Walnut Creek, California. And it's, later than I thought on Solaris 7. I'm in the headquarters of the Virtual Geographic League. It was from this very same building that some of the bravest adventurers in history set out to explore cyberspace. And I'm about to join them.
All pilots for Alpha 4, please report the departure area. Attention, all pilots for Alpha 4.
Oh, excuse me, that's my mission. I've been translocated to the desert planet Solaris 7, and I'm in a 30-foot tall battle mech. I'm fighting 7 other mech warriors from all over the universe, and it's a battle to the death. My mech has an almost overwhelming array of armaments and systems, but it takes a lot of practice to control. Get you next time. After returning to Earth and the decontamination procedures, VGL pilots love to gather around the debriefing monitors and compare notes on tactics. But I have a more important task, to discover more about the history of the Virtual Geographic League from board member Tim Disney.
Most of the history of the Virtual Geographic League remains shrouded in mystery, but we do know a few things. Primarily that it was founded in 1895 by Alexander Graham Bell and Nikola Tesla with the goal of discovering and exploring other universes.
Isn't it dangerous?
Well, there have been a few incidents in the history of the League. The containment bay, you'll notice it's a heavily reinforced structure. That's for a reason. There have been a few episodes of unwanted hitchhikers making the journey back to Earth and some resulting mayhem. But we've really improved our safety standards, and in fact, we've only lost 11 pilots over the last 25 years of interdimensional travel. So we're quite proud of our safety record. In fact, I brought you here this operator's manual, and I suggest you pay very close attention to the regulations concerning safety in Chapter 6. Chapter 6.
All pilots for Beta 6. Beta 6, please report the departure area.
Tim, that's my mission. I gotta
go. Good luck, Z. Hey, don't forget, Chapter 6.
My next translocation is to Mars, the Red Planet, in the year 2053.
Hey, no pressure. It's just a Martian death race.
On the Red Planet, I'll be flying in a dangerous hovercraft race with my fellow adventurers,
The lower to the ground you are, the faster you go.
taking the roles of enslaved or miners.
To unidentified pilots, cease and desist. This use of the vehicle is not authorized.
My task is to beat the other players and race to freedom by any means I can. I can crash into them or find my solid rocket boosters so I can get a speed advantage. Uh-oh, I'm about to crash. Oh, lightly damaged, huh? Oh, man. Just blew up. Now I'm in 3rd place. The other crafts are being controlled by real players, so every adventure is different. Hey, I did pretty good. This is my pilot log sheet. It tells me how many points I got, who I collided with, and how many violations I notched up. Oh well, back to reality.
If you believe that, you'll believe anything. There are plans to set up virtual worlds in this country too, probably next year and probably in London. Battletech is based on this board game, and just like when Z played it, the idea is to destroy opponents and capture land. The SNES game, Mech Warrior, is also based on Battletech. Now for this week's news and previews.
Another massive scoop for Bad Influence. This is the first televised look outside Japan at the brand new Sonic CD. This amazing disc features 7 mouth-watering levels, using some fantastic scrolling and rotational effects, plus a sneak snip of a Sonic pinball sub-level.
Those heroes in a half shell are back in a beat-em-up game of their own called Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles Tournament Fighters. Leonardo and the gang are all available for the beat-em-up action, as well as 6 baddies like Shredder and a mutant shark called Armagon.
The latest pocket-sized strap-on for your Game Boy is this, the humongous Booster Boy. This massive plastic case completely surrounds your Game Boy. It's got stereo speakers, larger buttons and an amplifier. There are drawers and little compartments on the side here for headphones and carts. There's a magnifier, there's a light, even a robust little mini joystick. You can prolong the life of your Game Boy with the extra backup battery compartments in the bottom, and there's a mains adapter as well.
Are your trainers looking dull and lifeless? Have they got that just got them from the shop look? Well, take it from me, you are seriously uncool, and you need help from the Trainer Care Lab. Here at the Trainer Care Lab, we use the very latest technology to coolify shoe wear. Right, fellas, while they're fermenting, here's a really cool tip for cool spot on the Mega Drive. Simply pause the game anywhere, like so, and type in ABC, BAC, ABC, BAC, and you'll be whisked straight to the end of the level, like so. Right, I think I better check my trainers. A few more hours, I think, yes.
Boy, you can smell it from here. Time to find out how the world Scrabble champion is getting on against the Amiga. So, who's winning?
Well, I'm just ahead at the moment, 323 to 303, and it's my go. But I've got pretty bad letters on my rack at the moment, so it's anyone's game.
So how do you find this computer version of Scrabble?
It's very tough. I'm playing on the highest level. There's 12 different levels, and half wishing I'd played on a lower level. But...
Right, I'll let you get on with it now, then.
Thanks very much.
Andy?
It's not just Scrabble that's enjoying the digital treatment. Lots of other family favourites are enjoying a new lease of life as toy companies convert their bestsellers to video format, coincidentally just in time for Christmas. This is Monopoly on the PC. Now, at first glance, it may look about as useful as a chocolate fire guide, but think about it. There are advantages to binning the cardboard in favour of the computer. There are... Well, for example, you don't have to argue with the computer about who gets to be the top hat, do you? Anyway, you can play against up to 7 other computerised characters. They've all got their own quirky little personality traits. Some of them are quite bright and some of them are quite thick. And you can save the game so that you don't have to pack up the board like you do normally. And well, that's it, really.
This is Mahjong. In this particular version of the game, the basic idea is to get rid of all the tiles by matching them up, like that's a pair. Before each game, you have to sort out the tiles and lay them out in different ways. There are loads of different ways to do this, and it takes ages. That is not a problem, however, on the SNES version of the game, which is called Shanghai 2. This is a basic pattern. Now, I'm just getting rid of the tiles by exactly the same principle. I'm finding a tile which has got 2 bare edges next to each other, clicking them on them with the joypad, and they're disappearing. And then I think I'm going to be stuck for a bit.
Even old favourites like battleships have been given the full treatment. In this, the CDI version of battleships, they've tried to spice it up a little bit by putting actual sea warfare footage in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen there, which depicts what's going on, whether it's a hit or a miss, or whether the ship's sunk and so on. Hits are red, misses are white. If you sink all his ships before he sinks all yours, you've won, or vice versa. And apart from that, it's just like the game I played at school.
Check. And of course, there's chess, which was the first board game ever to get computerised. It's only recently that the software has begun to appeal to anyone who's less than a grandmaster. This is Battle Chess 4000. The board is a battlefield with 32 digitised clay models acting as the pieces. Pawns trade blows with castles, and queens bash bishops to bits.
And this is the manic National Lampoon chess. The crazy characters have been brought to life from digitised footage of real actors. They have raging animated battles and are pestered by the Grandmaster, who sends down all manner of weird creatures to plague them. It's more interesting than watching Short and Kasparov. But for all the technical jiggery-pokery of the computer games, for me, there's nothing better than actually arguing with Violet about whether she owes me money for the rent on Piccadilly. You do!
I do
you
not!
Do.
I don't! And now for some more games reviews. Alfred Chicken on the Amiga sees our plucky hero on the trail of the Mecha Chickens, who's stolen all the eggs and also Alfred's girlfriend. Here's Lisa to unscramble the mess.
When you first begin to play this game, it's difficult to control Alfred and to understand the game. But after a while of playing, you begin to master the manoeuvres. This is level 3, wood. You can tell from the pieces of wood about nails and bits of leaves. I'm now going through a secret entrance into a room where there's a flower. Now, if I collect this telephone, she will give me a special weapon. which is in shape of jam, I can now fire and collect these objects for points. This game is worse than any other platform game I've played. It's very difficult to manoeuvre.
This seems like a very basic game compared to some Amiga releases. It might appeal to younger players, but it didn't appeal to me.
I really hate this game. The gameplay is really basic.
And the scores for Alfred Chicken: the girls gave it a paltry 2 out of 5, and the boys gave it a foul 2 out of 5.
Gunstar Heroes on the Mega Drive is a fierce 1- or 2-player shoot-'em-up. The story goes that an evil villain has stolen 4 magical crystals and intends to take over the world. Here's the gun-toting lead to the rescue.
This is one of the best ever games for the Mega Drive. It's very fast and you don't know what's going to happen next. This is 7 Force. He's the end-level boss on level 2. Once you have defeated him, he transforms into another boss, which you have to keep defeating. At the beginning of the game, you can choose from any of 4 different weapons. You can also collect other weapons through the game, so you have 2, and they can be combined. You don't have to repeatedly keep pressing the fire button, you just have to hold it down. This is a definite game to buy, especially if you enjoy action games, and there's the added bonus of having 2 players.
I like this game, it's really good. The graphics are good as well, but it is confusing when there is 2 of you on the screen.
This is a very good game. If you like shooting games, it's a very good buy. It's a lot better than average.
And the scores for Gunstar Heroes. The girls gave it an excellent score of 4 out of 5, and the boys agreed. 4 out of 5 from them.
No, not quite ready yet. A lot of people ask me how the head caption system works. Well, basically, I've had all my hair surgically removed and replaced with a very special material I invented called Rudro. At a distance, it looks like real hair, but close up, you can probably see it's made up of hundreds of tiny insects who grab the lovingly prepared captions in their pincers. I'll demonstrate with this cheap 4 Parodius on the SNES. Well done, tiny friends. Pause the game anywhere and type it in. BBXXAYAY up, then left, and you'll get maximum power. Hey! Okay, tiny friends, you can let go now. I said you can let go. Let go, I said.
Thankfully, Rudro is not available in the shops. If you want to read the data blast, set your video recorder now. Last week's competition was to win a Neo Geo and a game, and of course a Bad Influence t-shirt. The question was, from which film is this the last scene? The answer is Die Hard 2, and the lucky winner is Amanda Jane Bradbury from Linton Swaddlingcote in Derbyshire. Well done.
Where? This week's competition prize is a CD32 with software. Oh, and of course, the Bad Influence t-shirts. And the competition question is very simple. What's the more common name for the chess piece known as a rook? If you think you know, give us a call on 0891 700 100. Calls should cost you no more than 25p, but get permission from whoever pays the phone bill before you call. Lines will stay open until midnight on Monday. Best of luck.
Just before we go, the question that's on everyone's lips. Who is better, the world Scrabble champion or the Amiga? Who's won? Who's won?
The Amiga is officially won by 6 points, but it was quite ironically at the end. I actually pressed across rather than down on my last move.
So you lost because it was the computer?
I won if I'd been playing on a board, but I lost because I pressed the wrong digit into the computer.
At any rate, it would have been very close.
It was very close. It's a great player.
What was your best word?
My best word was Equinia, and its best word was vortexes, which was very nice, using the X.
Well, thanks for playing it for us.
Pleasure.
It just goes to show that a computer can almost be beaten.
And finally, just before we go, tomorrow sees the launch of the game everybody's been waiting for, Street Fighter 2 Turbo on the SNES. At last, you get to control the bosses. The word is it's really good. A full review next week. Watch this space.
Goodbye, farewell, adieu, au
Bye-bye.
revoir, auf Wiedersehen, arrivederci.